Bert Oliva's Mastermind Circle.
Welcome back to another Mastermind Circle session. First of all, I want to thank everyone that's on the webinar today. I want to thank all the new viewers, all the new members, and the existing members for coming in. And one of the things is I wanted to share some of the notes I want to talk about is that we've had the most viewers this week alone with the members coming back and doing replays. And that's really what we're doing this for, is that you have now about over 30 hours of content like the one you're going to get tonight. Not only are they interviews, they're also sessions and training techniques and tools that will help you in your business and in your life. Today I have a special guest, Jeff Zelaya. He's a good friend of mine. I met him years ago, and we're going to tell you the whole story and how he came about and how we met and the whole thing. And he has a lot of tools and techniques that he's going to share with you guys. And I'm really excited because it's been a while since I've been able to talk to him. So I'm excited about this session. However, before I get started, for those that are new, I need to show you a video. It tells you a little bit more about what I do and what Mastermind is all about. And for the members, we're going to break down everything, and it's going to give you the core values and everything that we do in Mastermind. So if you guys are ready, remember, this is a webinar that's by participation. We want you guys to participate as much as you can. So let's start with raising your hand. Everyone raise your hand to make sure you're paying attention. You can hear me clearly. Everything's great. Beautiful. Thank you so much. So let's get started.
Bert Oliva is an international orator. He speaks around the world about his experiences and teaches humanology, the scientific study of human potential. He has enchanted audiences all over the world, showing them the power of mind over matter.
He's one of the most talented speakers out here, and I highly recommend him to any type of.
The more prepared you are, the luckier you'll be.
He is the world-renowned authority on leadership and human behavior.
Mr. Bert Oliva.
Bert Oliva!
He's considered the voice of inspiration and motivation. Today he'll pass his knowledge on to all of us.
For over 2 decades, Bert Oliva has touched the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. Bert has a dedicated social media following and an impressive online influence few possess, enabling him to communicate with audiences he has touched near and far.
I think he's one of the greatest motivators out there.
The thing I love about Bert is he's on stage and he gives his heart every single time.
He has developed many programs, recorded audio CDs, and written books, all of which to help those ranging from individuals to corporate and Fortune 500 companies. He has dedicated his life to speaking all over the globe and met some of the most influential and powerful people in the world.
Okay, let's go.
He has also coached highly successful business executives and politicians.
Normally seen as impossible.
I believed it and I did it.
An infectious motivator.
So get ready to learn tools that will help you tap into your potential.
Pay attention. This is real stuff.
Get ready to have an experience you won't soon forget. Please help me welcome Bert Oliva.
Before I bring Jeff up, period, I want to do a brief bio. Number one, as you guys know, I travel the world and I meet a lot of people, and Jeff is one of those global gems, or one of those people that I find that even though I found him when he was really young, he's still pretty young. I can see their potential. I see where they're taking it. I see that they're a little different than the average person that goes to our seminars. And I stay in contact with those people because I know where they're going to be in the next 10, 20 years. And with that being said, before I bring him up, let me go ahead and give you a brief bio on who Jeff is.
Jeff Zelaya is a leading sales and marketing professional. He's a public speaker, an entrepreneur, and a sales executive at the venture-backed startup Triblio. Jeff, his wife Emma, and his son Elijah currently reside in the Washington, D.C. area. And tonight he's here to share his knowledge with us. So let's welcome Mr. Jeff Zelaya.
Bert, man, it's great to see you again.
Same here, man. It's been a while. How have you been?
I've been fantastic, man. I could not be better. I'm so honored to have this opportunity to be with one of my mentors, man. I tell you, I still remember, when we first met, that experience I had, it just completely changed my life. And I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for the influence that you've had on me. So thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I want to start from the beginning. Because usually these interviews are really interviews that I want to be able to invite you 5 years from now and see some of the things that you said you were doing and where you are at that moment. But before we get to what you're doing today, where did it all start? Where were you born? Give us a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm originally from Miami, so I was born and raised in Miami, been there my whole life. I got an experience during college to actually come up to DC, did an internship here for 6 months, loved the area. You know, one day I told myself, hey, I'll be back. And graduated college. My wife also ended up, graduating college, started her job, and out of nowhere got recruited to come up to DC. And we ended up back here, and everything just came together, fell together. And I've been here now 4 years, going on 4 years. And for me, my journey, like I come, from immigrant parents that moved here for a better opportunity.
Where were they from?
My mom is from Costa Rica. And my dad is from Honduras. I grew up in Carroll City, went to Carroll City Elementary, then North Miami, graduated from North Miami High School, went to Florida International University, which is where I met you at one of your events. And I'm very plugged into the community down there. Now I'm doing big things here in the nation's capital.
But growing up, did you have a brother and sister, or was it you're an only child?
Yes. Yes. I have a sister who is right now, she actually just left. She was down in Fort Lauderdale. She left to Vegas, and she's at UNLV, the University of Las Vegas, doing dancing, following her passion. And she's now going to be traveling all across the world doing all types of performances. So she is so excited, so pumped for, and I'm excited for her. My brother is a graduate of Florida Atlantic University. He's my younger brother. He's living in Miami. My mom is down in Miami. So my family is still down there. My wife's family is all from Miami. So we go back as often as we can.
And growing up, your parents influencing you guys to go ahead and finish college? And, because most of the times immigrants, people don't understand that they come here to make a change in their life. And starting their family here, what was some of the upbringing stuff that you learned and the stuff, the teachings that they gave you?
Absolutely. I think a major focus was always education. And my dad especially said, hey, if you don't want to do what I'm doing, you got to make sure you go to school. And he was, I would say he worked very hard his whole life. He might not have been working smart. He wasn't educated. He never completed school, never even went to high school. So he always stressed in our family the importance of making sure that you do your best and you go to school and you do what you can to become educated. Because that would open up opportunities for you. That's what he felt. That was what he shared with us in our family. So we were brought up around that. My mom also, the same thing there. And she always was influential to me because she says, hey, you're capable of doing anything that you want. This is the land of opportunity. I might not be able to do these things that I'm pouring into you, but now you have this opportunity to go out there and create and do great things. So they've been very influential in my life in all aspects.
So growing up, you were always a good student?
I was actually, I was a smart student. I was gifted. I was in the gifted program. Now, I did not end up getting the best grades, right? Part of it is sometimes you get a little lazy. You maybe because people say, oh, you're smart, you're talented. You don't try as hard, right? You think everything will come as easy. When you're faced with the challenge, you kind of, maybe ignore it or just don't pursue it because you gravitate to things that come easier to you. And because of that, I also slacked off, right? So I like senior year, I ended up getting a very bad case of senioritis in high school. And I was absent more days than I was in class. And I actually ended up not graduating with all my peers, which I had gone to middle school with, high school. It was an embarrassing time for me, right? Because all their parents are proud, cheering them on, and I was not there that night. And my mom did not let me hear the end of that. So she was very disappointed. Because I had to break the news, hey, I'm not going to be graduating, and I had to go back to summer school in order to get my degree. And that actually was a gift in disguise. And the reason I say that is because at that time, it was just a struggle. Like I felt like, okay, do I really want to go to school? Is this what I want to do? So I was in a period that it was just a lot of turmoil and trials and trying to figure out, who is Jeff and what do I want to do with my future? And it took me a little bit of time to discover that, going through challenges and things that, they just helped shape me. And I walked out of that, I was put in the fire, but I walked out of that, hardened and ready for anything.
And growing up through the whole process, when you were going through those challenges, what was it that you wanted to do? What was the difficult challenges you were going through your mind about, I want to do this? What do you want to be when you grow up? Not what you're doing now, because I'm sure it's in this direct proportion, but at that precise moment, what was going through your mind?
At that time, it was, I guess my mentality was a little immature, right? For me, it's like, oh, money, cars, I want to be, have, great girlfriends or whatever, that was kind of my mindset of what success looked like. I didn't really understand, what real success was until a little bit later, where it's deeper than that. It goes further than just the superficial. And it's really about who you become through that process. That really, the way I define success, what you've grown, where you were and where you're at today, how have you grown? To me, that is really the path of success. So I started becoming more focused on, what kind of impact do I want to have around those around me, on my brother and sister? What kind of example do I want to be for my future family? What kind of husband would I like to be? And then also, how can I make the biggest difference in this world using the gifts that God has given me? So I had to really go through that, understand that, and discover that. And then when I finally started on the right path, it felt great. It all clicked, and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm meant to be. This is my purpose. And for me, it was to have an impact on others, through my speaking, through marketing, through sales. I mean, I just had gained skills in those areas. And it's something that I enjoyed, and people would say, hey man, you're great at that. And I wouldn't think I was special, but I just kind of heard that recurring pattern, and I enjoy this. I feel great when I do this. It doesn't feel like work. And that's when I started discovering, okay, this is my passion. And then success started to follow right after that.
That's awesome. I have a picture here I want to share with you, because we did a little bit of homework on you. You remember this picture behind me?
Yes.
It's about the English teacher. Tell me about your English teacher.
So this was a conference called Refresh Miami. So at Refresh Miami, what they do is it's a unconference where people just kind of show up and say, hey, what would you like to talk about? What's the topic that's on your mind? So for me, one of the topics that I've been very, I've researched very well, I've executed very well, has been the topic of social media, and specifically like LinkedIn, and how students could use it to like find their job, and how business professionals, sales professionals could use it to find their next client. So I actually ended up doing a conference, a little workshop on that, and people loved it, and it was really fun and kind of informal, but it was a great experience to connect.
Was it like your first time speaking or choosing a topic?
Yeah, I think it was one of the first times like speaking in front of a community. It was I got really great feedback from that. I realized, wow, this is pretty neat. I could probably do more of this and get paid for it. And just it was one of the engagements that I thought brought opportunity my way.
Now tell us, do you still speak German and French?
I do not speak German. I could count in German, but that's about it. I speak French.
That's really important, though. You can count all the money that you make when you go to Germany.
Yes, exactly. And I still speak French. I understand French, Spanish. I'm fluent there. I'm teaching my son right now. He just came back from Miami. He learned a bunch of Spanish with my abuelita, with abuelita there. So he's doing great, and he's learning Indonesian right now too with Nanny. So we're gonna get definitely believe in that.
I love that kid. I mean, what you've done with your son, and you put it all online. I want to get into that, but before that, something happened to you in 2003. You remember that picture?
Oh yes,
that's where your turning point. That you were talking about, finding the right person. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so this is my high school sweetheart. However, we never actually were together in high school. I asked her out to prom 3 times, and 3 times I was rejected. However, prom night, we ended up dancing the entire night together. And remember I said, after high school, I was struggling with like figuring out myself. She was there to help me out as a friend. She gave me feedback, just listened to me, and really helped me during that rough moment in my life. And we got together right after graduation. She went off to Tampa, and then we just had a great, start to our relationship. She wanted to be closer to me, so she moved to University of Miami and transferred over to that school, finished her studies there. We were together for about 8 years dating before, I proposed, and I proposed to her in Jamaica on the beach, very cool moment. And then we got married shortly thereafter.
So you knew she was the one, right? From the beginning?
from the very beginning, I don't know if I knew that. Like I just maybe, I liked her. She was cool. Like I wasn't there yet, but then through to some time, and just like really knowing who she is and what she stands for and her family, and just everything that comes with marrying a person, I realized, wow, this is someone that I could see growing old with, right? I could be, this is my partner. This is my connection, and we just have been doing great things ever since.
Yeah, I can tell, man. When you're talking about it, you get so into it. That's one of the things I love about you, is that you are sincere. What you see is what you get. And it's hard to find those type of speakers, especially in today's world. Because when you met me, even though I think it was more than 5 years ago, the speaking industry was way different than it is today. It was only a handful of speakers at the top level, and then now you have all these speakers. And one of the things that turned me on about you was that you're always sincere, whether you were teaching social media or life skills or motivation. Because even though, and I'll get into that, when I was in New Orleans and I spoke for the a marketing company or marketing organization. Yeah, and I took my time off when I had a chance to go into the rooms to see you, because that's what it's all about. Is really the day you think you know it all and you're on top of the world, today you lose everything. You always have to be open, especially with those people, like you said, I'm your mentor. Even though at that moment I didn't see myself as being your mentor, I was like, man, I like this guy. This guy's gonna make it big. And I followed you, and I still do. And a lot of the stuff that we do is through your social media, which we're gonna get into some of those details. So I really love it, and I like your ideas. In fact, one of the ideas I want to know is about the marriage prayer. What is that, and how did you come up with that idea?
It's funny. Our friends, when we got married, one of their gifts was this framed marriage prayer. That talks about just making sure that you forgive someone, that you really love them with all your heart, and every night, my son and I, we would read this marriage prayer together, and he would just tap the side of the frame, and it would swing back and forth, and we would do this every single night, for his first 2 years of life. And we did this so much that you could see, if you go to that wall, you could see the scratches that frame has left on the wall, because it's just part of our routine. It's part of, I want to teach this to him, because I think one of the best things you could do as a dad is to be a great husband and to show that example. And your son, my goal is for my son to learn that through my leadership, and by focusing on, making our marriage strong, and for him to learn that at a very early age. I think that's important. So it's something that we do, and we have a lot of little things like that throughout our day that just adds some routine, but also the consistency and repeating it over and over again. Those lessons sink in, and he might not be conscious of it today, but 5-10 years later, I'm sure he's going to know about these things. And
so that's something you recommend for relationships, that if they're getting married or they are in the process of getting married, that's just something they can do together. Give us a little breakdown of how you create this.
Yeah, I think you got to find things that you share, like little. I call them like shared experiences, and things that you and your spouse like see eye to eye on, or have a commonality, or feel very strong about, and just to create moments around that you could repeat. So one of the things that we're doing, another moment, is also like all of us and getting our families to go on vacation. So we get the in-laws, and every year we alternate. So this year was my mom and my brother and sister. We took a trip to Costa Rica. I paid everything. All the expenses were paid by us. Last year it was my wife's family, right? And we all had a great experience in Jamaica. So these are experiences that we know are going in like the album. Like when I pass away, which we all will die at one moment, like we'll have this collection of memories, and these are things that are going to be part of that collection. And you have to be intentional about creating these. So I look for opportunities, and it's different for everyone. I can't say, hey, you got to do this. You got to find out what kind of mutual experience and shared experience you want to create, and then make it a tradition. Like do it consistently and over again, and make it part of your.
I usually talk about that when we talk about capturing the moment, because everyone lives an incredible life. However, they're so busy doing their life that they forget about those experiences. And that's really what's important when you capture those moments. One thing I know about you is that, well, lately I've been watching your Instagram, which I love, and you're doing a lot of health and fitness, and you've gone through the cycle. It's like finding that balance in your life. But that doesn't just start. I know that, you've been into bike riding for a long time.
Yeah.
So tell us about the bike riding. Do you still have that same bike?
I do have the same bike. I got to go fix. I got a flat from riding it last week. I hit this bump so hard that the back tire blew out. But I enjoy that so much. And one of my friends actually got me into it. He's like, Jeff, hey, you got to go mountain biking with me. And I'm like, mountain in Florida? There's no mountains around here. What are you talking about? But he took me to this park called Markham Park. And it has people have built these trails and these obstacle courses, and we went riding. He let me borrow his bike, and man, that adrenaline rush that I felt riding that bike, just being out in nature, and it was so much. I was sweating. It was a workout. It was fun. It was exhilarating, and it got me hooked on mountain biking, and I've been like in it ever since. And then part of to get my wife into it, right, to create some more shared experiences and moments, we got matching bikes. And we went, I tried to get her into mountain biking. She wasn't as passionate about it as I was, so it didn't work out. I think I pushed her a little bit too hard, too soon. But we still, like, when Elijah was born, we got a little like a kid seat on that and put it on the bike, and then all three of us started riding. So we would just, we wouldn't go hardcore, but we would do like the bike paths, and it's something that keeps you active. You could create really cool moments around it. And it's just a lot of fun.
What's your favorite, the favorite trail that you've done?
I really like Markham Trail. There's a new one, Virginia, down like right next to the beach in Miami, which I love because the views are just incredible. Up here, we've hit up Great Falls, so you could go like down the Potomac, and it's just amazing, like the river, and you see all the views, and it's a way to get outdoors and connect with nature and get a good workout all at the same time.
So tell us about the American Marketing Association. I know you were really involved with them. You're still involved. Tell us more about that, because a lot of people that are looking for marketers, that is the place to find the right people that are into marketing. That's what I believe. I mean, I saw some of the best marketers when I did the presentation for them. These are the up-and-coming geniuses of marketing.
Yep. And I think one of what helped me plug into that organization when I started college, because I took some time off after high school, just kind of figuring out what I wanted to do, but it also helped prepare me for when I started FIU, Florida International University, because I learned from people's mistakes, like my friends, what they did wrong, also learned from what they did right, and I had a great mentor with my wife that helped kind of coach me and make sure that I had the best college experience possible. And part of what should be part of that experience is making sure that you don't only excel in school and in class, but that you also do extracurricular activities to shape you as a professional. And one of those organizations that I got plugged into was the American Marketing Association at FIU. FIU, and in that year, I was part of that organization, became the #1 chapter in the entire country. So we dominated at not just the local level, but nationally. We dominated with competing against other American marketing associations from schools like Ivy League schools, for example. We killed them. And we also we built out a sales division of the American Marketing Association, because marketing and sales go hand in hand. And that's something that there's a lot of opportunity. You could make lots of great money in sales. And I think it's a skill that everyone needs, regardless of what you go into. So it's something that I got really plugged into, volunteered a lot of time to help students out, show them the importance of organizations. It also allows to connect with people like you, people that have succeeded and have great stories to share, and they want to pay it forward. So we were able to connect with professionals, not just students, but professionals like you in the community that helped us and helped the entire club out in gaining success.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. That's one of my favorite presentations that I've done in a long time. That group was so engaged, and it's just they really want it, and that was one of the things I really loved. I know that you had a title in FIU. It was called Mr. FIU Business. Tell us about that title.
So again, that's a title. That's an award that's actually given out by faculty and staff. And because I was mentored, I had some great people helping me out, and a lot of people that poured into me, and I poured back into them just as much. They recognized me as being Mr. FIU, Mr. FIU Business. So like I embodied pretty much what they would like to see, all students embody, that I was excelling in my academics. I was excelling with extracurricular activities like the AMA, and also professionally I was getting internships. I actually did 6 internships all paid while I was going to school. And that helped, when I graduated, I had 4 job offers in a time where the economy wasn't at its best. And I had 4 offers, people that wanted to hire me as soon as I got my degree. And I was recognized at the commencement ceremony by the president, Dr. Mark Rosenberg. And this is, again, a redeeming moment for me because, like I mentioned earlier, my mom never saw me graduate, like walk the stage at high school. And now, here we are in front of thousands of people, graduating. And they only called out 2 students for my entire class that were being recognized as a Worlds Ahead graduate. So it made me very proud. I shed a couple of tears during that ceremony, and it made my mom really, really happy. And it's a chance. Like you learn from your failures, and it just depends. Don't get defined by the failure, but just take action to learn from it, and then you will see the fruit of your reward if you put in the right type of work.
Yeah, one of the things I want to bring to the viewers is that you talk a lot about mentors, and a lot of people, they allow their ego to get in the way, and they don't realize there's so many mentors out there. There's different mentors for different things, whether it's relationship, business, wealth building, whatever it is. I mean, you just got to go after it. And a lot of people will sit on the sideline waiting for those people to come to them. And one of the things I liked about you is you're a go-getter. I mean, you were really young when I met you, and you were wearing 3-piece suits, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, that's why you played the part. It was part of your life, and now you're reaping the benefits. And you've been reaping the benefits for a while now, but it's not because it came to you. And I don't want them to think that, well, this guy had it pretty easy. No, you came from immigrant family. They worked hard like I did with my mom. My mom was cleaning floors for people. And they said, look, son, you don't want to do what I'm doing. You want to do better. That's why we came to this country. And not only have you done better, but now even your brother, your siblings have done the same, because you got to lead by example. So, with that being said, I got to talk about your little man. Tell us about the little man.
Oh man, he is amazing. I got, this is my motivation, my why, right? I got my family. This guy is just, that's our legacy, right? Bert, you have kids, that, how strongly you feel with your kids. This is the impact that I want to leave on this world. I cannot do it myself. I'm going to do it through, my tree, right? Through the seeds that I plant. And he's one of those seeds that will blossom into, I believe, something great, someone that will change this world. And I want to just be as, for God to use me as a tool to help him, to help mold him, right? And every generation, it just stands on the shoulders of the last generation. So I want him to stand tall, stand strong. And I spent a lot of time with him. Fatherhood is something that, I grew up with a dad that wasn't very connected, to the family. He was, it was really a stepdad that raised me, but even my stepdad was not, at all plugged in. He would never, he would just be focused like on soccer and watch soccer and work really hard. He provided for the family. He did that really well. But when it came to really being a dad that was nurturing, that was really trying to help and connect with their son, I didn't get that. So I learned from that so I could apply, whatever that didn't go right, I wanted to make it right when I became a dad. So that was an inspiration for me. And that's what I'm trying to do, be the best dad possible and just invest as much time with my kid to develop him into something that, incredible, something great.
It's finding that balance, like one of the things you said, children are really important, especially for me. They are my motivating factor. A lot of times when I'm like not on my game, I'm like my children, and that's when my early time in my career, that's basically what I was doing. It was like, man, I was just happy to be able not only to provide for them, but to be there for them. Because you want to find that balance. And that's what people don't understand. People go after one thing. They want to be extremely wealthy, but in that process, they miss out on the family. Then they go all family, and then they end up not having any wealth whatsoever. It's finding whatever works for you, but finding that balance so you can live an amazing life. Because we all have the potential of having the greatest life we've ever wanted, and God wanted us to have that. However, we need to take action. And a lot of people sit on the sideline. They got to take action. But, one thing I want to bring up is, you have a lot of family traditions. Can you give us a few for those people here that are starting a new family, or even if they have a family and they want to start? Because it's never too late. Even if you haven't done it right because you've been too busy, there's always the best time to start is now. So you have some traditions you can share with us?
Yes. So I got a couple of traditions. So I always have, like for my family, part of what I intentionally try to build is moments that we have fun together, that we bond together. So, we go out to the park, we play, we're silly with each other, and we let our guard down. Many times at work, we're all business professional, but with your family, you could disconnect and, just really cut loose, and that helps bring the family together, doing game time or, hide and seek together, and just like being very active with, making it fun. And so that's one of the traditions I instill. And also another one is we always have like at least 5 times a week we're sitting down together as a family to eat dinner or eat breakfast. And just like talking, like no cell phones at the table. We might have a little bit of like maybe classical music, jazz, like very low volume on the background, but like just taking everything off and like just focusing on having some conversation, eating together. And, we pray before we eat. My wife and I, we pray first thing in the morning when I'm driving her, dropping her off at work, or before we take off to go to our employment, spending some time just like in prayer. And then another one that is big, this has shaped my entire life, and really like set it on the fast track, was at the beginning of the year. Before like New Year's, I used to like go party. Yeah, let's go celebrate. Let's go to the beach, drink. And then when I got married, I started a new tradition where on New Year's Eve, we would welcome the new year by writing down our goals and just writing down, hey, this is what, and my wife and I, now our son is part of it. And we each have our poster board. I actually, I could show you, I have the goals right here. So you can see they're all, I bring them here. I have a copy at my house, and we're driven by this. So like everyone knows what each other's goals are, what we're going after as a family individually. We post that up, on our door. It's a thing that we see when we're walking out the door. It's a thing we see usually in the first thing in the morning, and it's what we create, during that New Year's Day tradition. And then what we do is we do a 6-month checkup. So at the 6-month mark, which we just did last month, we sat down together. Okay, where are we? What do we have to change? What steps do we have to take? Are we going to be able to do this by the end of the year? What do we have to do to make this possible? So these are traditions that have helped us. I mean, I could point to how this has helped us, and it's not just me, it's my wife, it's my son, it's people that we've also taught this to. I even did like a little workshop for my family only, just to teach them, hey, this is helping us. Like, you got to do this too. And I get stories back from them, about how it's helping them out. So that's something that I'm very proud of, and we're doing that. It's going to be part of our life.
That's awesome. Thank you. Tell us about your business. I want to know, what is it you're doing now? Where are you working? Because I know you do. Well, go ahead, break it down for us.
Yeah, so I work for a company called Triblio. So you see here on my hoodie, and we are a SaaS company. We have develop software for marketers, mid-market, enterprise-sized businesses that allows them to do personalization at scale on websites. So focus around marketing, focus around technology. We work with a lot of companies out of Silicon Valley, in the Boston area, in Austin, Texas, usually these tech hubs where marketers are very advanced with their technology. So I've been here now a little bit over 2 years. When we started, 0 clients. We've been able to grow the business now over 300%. And I'm the sales executive, and really I'm the one building out the sales team. So we now have doubled in size in terms of employees. We've more than tripled our client base. We're going through another round of funding. We're venture backed, and now we have more money coming in to fuel some of the growth, so we could do more hiring, more marketing, and continue to fast track our business. But I get a chance now. I have flexibility, right, to manage my schedule. I do something that I really love, that I'm passionate about. I work with a great team. I'm building the culture of the company. It's just amazing. Like, and from where I was and where I'm at, I'm like, wow, this is great. Like, I really feel I go home happy, and I enjoy what I do. And I'm always thinking of ways to add more value here for my business, for our customers.
And what's your part of the job? Like, what do you do for marketing? What do you actually run?
So sales. So I'm reaching out. Basically, I'm talking to marketers, C-level marketers, marketing directors, and going through challenges that they're having, figuring out how to overcome some of those challenges. They come to me saying, hey, we want to get more leads. We need more people to sell our product to, or we're having a hard time creating awareness in our in our industry, or we want to get more people to come to our site. We want to be able to deliver a more personal experience so they feel engaged with our brand and they want to work with us. Or we want them to not just buy now, but keep them buying again and again and again. So I help them, I consult them on ways to overcome those challenges, on things that they could do with their current technology, sometimes adding some technology, tweaking certain processes that they have to help them accomplish those goals. And then I hear the stories afterwards, and that really fuels me. And it's something that I'm not just driven by a paycheck or making commission or making money. I really am fueled by seeing people succeed, not just our customers, but also internally our employees. I want to create more jobs and have people feel really good about what they do and make good money while they're doing it.
Do you still do speaking engagements?
Once in a while. I actually have not done a lot of them because I've been so focused here. This is taking up, with family and with fitness, and with this is taking up a lot of, most of my time. So I could be doing it. I get once in a while people do reach out, but I have to learn to say no so I could focus on what I'm doing, because this is for me right now, it's the biggest opportunity. So I want to.
Well, the reason I ask is because you were like fairly a pioneer when it came to social media before it became a social media thing. Because one of the things is the thing you did for the LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. You were one of the top 1% viewed profiles in 2012. Tell us about that. And do you still believe in LinkedIn? Is it a good service for people to have?
Of course, yeah. I use LinkedIn every single day, spend the most time there out of all the social networks, and it's helped me put a lot of money in my pocket because you could reach out, you could connect with people there that normally you wouldn't connect with on Facebook or Twitter. I'm talking about marketing executives, CMOs, these enterprise level directors that they're not on Facebook, they're not tweeting, but they are on LinkedIn because that is their professional resume. That's how professional networking. That's what they do. That's what they're focused on. So I use it for, to connect with these people. I use it to learn about the people that I'm talking to. So one thing that separates me as a sales executive is that when I'm doing a presentation or doing a demo or spending time with them, I'm so informed. Like I know so much about their business because I've used social media as a way to gain that intelligence. So then when I talk to them, I'm building instant rapport and I'm able to
give us some techniques for people to be able to do it. What are some of the techniques that you do? Like, let's start with LinkedIn. How do you use LinkedIn to bring in business?
So number one thing is that you got to know who you're going after. And that's something that a lot of companies say, I want to sell my product. Okay, to who? To everybody. No, that's too big. You got to narrow it down. Who could really benefit from your product and service? So what LinkedIn helps me do is we could build certain criteria for what we would consider hot leads. So, these are people that are working at a company that has a certain amount of employees, or is in this territory, or is focused on this type of like manufacturing or airlines or software. And you can narrow down this criteria. So then LinkedIn will tell you, hey, these are the people that matches criteria you should be talking to because they're probably the best fit for whatever it is that you're selling. So LinkedIn gives me that information. Additionally, I also get trigger updates, which means that let's say someone has just gotten promoted. Wow, that's an awesome opportunity for me to reach out. I never cold call, in sales you hear, oh, I hate cold call. We never do that. I don't do that. When I'm reaching out to you, it's for a reason. I have purpose of why I'm calling. Usually, I congratulate you. Imagine what a great way to start a conversation, right? You just got promoted. I'm calling you to congratulate you. Already, I'm starting off on the right track instead of just, hey, I'm this blah, 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 talking about me. No, it's focused on that person. If someone's got promoted, usually they're also looking to make an impact on that organization rather quickly. They want to be able to deliver ROI because now they're in this new role. They want to fulfill and make their boss happy. So it's a reason why they might be looking for change or to supercharge whatever it is that they're doing, their results, and they want to go after certain goals. Other things that I look for is like a company just got around the funding. Guess what? They've got money in the bank. They're like, I say, oh, we don't got budget this year. No, excuse me. I just saw you got $11 million in investor money, and
all this information is on LinkedIn.
You got it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's why you were one of the top people on LinkedIn. You figured out the recipe, and you like LinkedIn more than the other social medias.
Yeah. So like I used to get, paid to get paid to train people how to use LinkedIn. I realized actually I could make more money by using it myself to grow my business. So that's what I'm doing now full time. And I would, of course, if someone wants help, I'll help them. But it's what I use mainly of course, personally, I like Facebook. I'm really now into Instagram stories. I actually just started testing it out because I was just curious, and I heard a lot of talk about Snapchat. I'm like, I can't do another social media network, and I'm a social media guy. I'm like, I got too many to handle already. So Instagram stories help me kind of do that short, the story that expires in 24 hours. So it's just a new way to do marketing. So I'm just again,
how's that working for you? Because I'm really enjoying it. I went from this
wow
social media, and I tried Snapchat for a while, and I had a nice size following, but I just wasn't connecting. It didn't feel like it was really my demographic. As soon as I went into Instagram, I'm loving it. So how's it working for you?
Wow, it surprised me. The engagement levels are higher than any other social network I've seen, and it's more personal and direct. People actually message you directly. And it's not a popularity contest like Twitter. Oh, follow me. People will follow if they want to, and then you get to see exactly who's engaging with your story. So I know, hey Bert, I saw this. Bert, you saw my story today, and
that's how you ended up here. Because I had totally forgot. It's been a while since I seen you, and then I'm telling Alex, hey Alex, and she goes, yeah, I've been seeing his stuff, and I'm like, man, we got to have him on the show because he's still doing it, and I felt like you bring me into your running every morning, you bring me into your wife and your dinners, and it's cool because it's just little clips and it's engaging.
I describe it as Facebook is the trailer, it's perfectly edited, the movie trailer that people put out there, but Instagram stories is behind the scenes, the stuff that was left on the floor, that was cut, right? It's very transparent. It gives you a better look at what happens really with people's lives. It's not all fancy editing and all this stuff that people do usually on Facebook. It's a real look, and I like that. I feel like social media has been missing some of that transparency, some of that authentic feel that attracted me to it in the first place. So I've been having really good results with it. People messaging me, people connecting to people that I haven't talked to in a while. They're like, "Wow, Jeff, I can't believe you're really doing all this stuff." And I think I've hit now 10,000 views on my story. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's whoa, there's a lot of people seeing it. So I think that's before it was zero. So I think it's a good way to just create exposure.
Well, a lot of people are not using the stories yet. They haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
So you're on the top feed of whoever is following you. They get to see, that, this guy's doing videos.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And then people choose to do it, right? If I don't like you, Jeff, I'm not going to look at the story, right? Where in Facebook, it's just forced on you, right? Hey, here, look at Bert, look at this, look at that. And with Instagram stories, they're oh, do I want to see what Jeff? Okay, let me go. And they have to press it to see the story. And then they could see as much as they want or as little as they want. So it's an interesting approach to it. So I'm still learning, and I think we're always learning about social, but I'm having fun with it now, and it got me connected to you. So I guess it is.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Before I got a couple of questions I want to get to you, but I want to let the viewers know that as soon as I'm done with these questions, I want them to get ready to ask their questions live. And, ask Jeff anything. He will tell you. If he doesn't know it, he'll get back to you. So I want you guys to get ready. Are you guys still here with me? If you are, I want you guys to raise your hand. Make sure you guys are with me. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I want to ask you a couple more questions. What are the biggest things that people learn from you right now? I mean, I know your business, but just overall, what are the biggest things?
I think the biggest thing, or what I hope they learn, is that you could succeed at many things. You could be successful in different areas of your life. Many people think, if you are successful in business and focus on money, that you cannot be a good husband, you cannot be a good dad, or that if you're with your family a lot, doesn't mean that you're going to be able to make good money. That you have to give something to get something. And I don't believe in that. I think there's an abundance of success available. It's just how you manage it, how you balance it all, and it takes some time, trial and error, to figure out how can we balance this. And it's still ongoing. I still have my wife and I. Okay, Jeff, you gotta not work out today because I want to spend time. So I got to learn how to make these sacrifices, and it's being able to balance it all. But I think hopefully what they're learning from me is that you could be successful in different areas of your life. It's possible. You just got to figure out what's the right balance for you. But success is possible in different aspects.
What's the biggest challenge that you face in business every day?
I think it's being able to impact others and train them and find the right people for your company. I think one thing that you said you noticed with me is that you have the hunger, you have the drive. And I don't know if it's sometimes you can't teach that. I want someone to learn it. I want you to be as hungry as I am, right? I'm hungry, Grandma. I want them to have that same drive, but sometimes you got to realize that, maybe that person's not going to learn, not going to have that, because maybe they just, I don't know, maybe I wasn't able to teach that to them. So I tried to teach them, force them to have that hunger and drive, but in the end, I got to realize they're just not, they're not meant for that. So figuring out like who are the right people to bring on my team where I could, recognize, okay, this person has that drive, that has this hunger. They're just not selling me on saying, yeah, they have it. And then when they don't put in the work, they don't take that extra time to learn. They're not passionate really about, just 9 to 5, that's it. Outside of that, they're not working on ways to improve themselves. So I think that's a challenge that I find now. It's, how can I find more of those people that, really want it, that have that drive, that hunger, and then help guide them and train them. Maybe they're raw, how can I refine them to be the very best they could be?
Yeah, I love what you're saying. I love that you know what you're looking for. So when it shows up, you capture it. A lot of people don't even know what they're looking for. So a lot of times it does show up and they don't even realize it they realize it a little too late. So that's really important. What motivates you?
Oh man, my family. I think that's number one. I want to give them the very best possible and take them on, traveling, get experiences. We're planning already our trip to Europe, and, these are things that, wow, I once prayed and dreamed about, and now it's a reality. And I'll tell you, one of the things, Bert, I don't think I've ever shared this with you, but after your workshop, you talked about visualization and like wanting, like picturing what you want. One of the things I did when I went home that night, I wrote, one of my goals was to make like $100,000, at that time in college, that's a lot of money. I want to make that. So I got a dollar bill and I wrote on it $100,000. This is the same bill, but I've already reached that goal. So now I'm going after $1 million, and I have this here as a reminder, that everything's possible. And I had this, like when I went to bed in my mom's house, I had it up on the roof. So it was like the first on the ceiling. So the first thing that when I went to sleep, when I woke up, I would see this $100,000. And it didn't accomplish it as fast as I want to, right? Because you wanted to do it tomorrow or yesterday, right? But I got there. And now once I got there, okay, now what's the next one? Like not being satisfied with that. Now, if I did this, what else can I do? So, stretching yourself. So, I have this as a reminder.
Next time I interview you, I want to see an extra 2 zeros there. That means you keep growing. I'm excited about that.
I'm working on it. We're getting there.
You were so hungry, you swallowed the fire, man. How do you define success, Jeff?
So it's not always tied in to money. Many people think it's money, and money is important, and it's a very important aspect in all areas of our life, but it shouldn't be the focus. It should be more around like having options and being able to create opportunities for others, and to leave a lasting impact that people, beyond your generation will remember and that will last. So for me, it's just having that freedom. Really, that's success, to do what you want to do on your own terms.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for the interview, but we're not done yet. We have some questions. Do we have people ready? I'm going to bring some people live. They're going to ask you questions, and this is what it's all about. Is being able to and wait till you see the edited version. You're going to love it, because this all, we have an archive of over 30 hours of content like this. Some are motivational, some are educational, but it's something, different strokes for different folks. And this is how I've been doing it, a little different than everyone else, and interacting with the audience is great.
Hello. It's Coach Anthony from Teach Them Younger. I'm residing in Orlando, Florida. I like that. I've got the radio voice going tonight.
I love it, man. Wow. Is that Barry White? Man, this is really good stuff.
Well, I'll be quick. I'm a family man myself. I love to hear what you had to say about being with your family and how you have your little traditions. I like how Bert kind of fed you a lot of that, because that was everything I wanted to hear as you started. So that was great. I have my own.
By the way, I know Anthony, and you guys are so similar in some of the tools that you guys are using for your family. It's an amazing thing. And it's awesome because a lot of times, it doesn't matter the age, confirmation sometimes is better than learning something new. So he's using the same tools. He wakes up in the morning, and I have a group that we call Glide. It's a group where actually we do like little chats, and it's a small community. It's really a like-minded individual community, and it's a different type of social media, and I only have a small group. And Anthony every morning does his affirmation, has his child doing it with him. Yep. He does, his wife does it. So it's awesome when I heard you saying it, that, wow, this guy does it too. And he's the first one asking you questions. This is awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
I was coming there immediately. Had to do a live question when I heard a lot of this stuff. again, I can relate on a lot of different levels. So I had to come in. But I really would like you to expand a little bit on how you set goals for your son. You know, I see that you're sharing a lot of information about, you know, some of the things that you guys do, but really how do you look at goal setting for him? Because he seems like he's a little younger. How old is he?
Yeah, he's 3. He just turned 3 this summer. Mm-hmm.
So are you in that process of, hey, let's start to train you to start thinking of being a goal setter and achiever and trying to push past those goals?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like at first, you know, we have to give him some guidance on what his goals should be. And it's really more focused, not so much on him learning it, but more on us teaching it and spending time doing that. So I could tell you, he's 3 right now. He could read anything you put in front of him. He could read. He could tell you, like, if you give him a state, he'll tell you the capital of that state. He could point out to all these different countries on the map. And this is all part of the goals that we've set. So like, hey, let's spend time with reading. Let's spend time with, you know, learning about different cultures and environments. Let's spend time, you know, being active and learning how to socially interact with other kids your age. So, you know, we set up these goals and we also motivate him through like reading, right? So he reads 5 books, he gets a special reward at the end. He gets a little car or a little lollipop. And for my son, he was so happy. I got him a $1 Hot Wheels car. It was like I bought him, I don't know, a real Ferrari. Like he felt that way. Like he was.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
And that made me so happy.
A lot of the stuff that Jeff is talking about, Anthony, he has it in his Instagram. He actually films his son doing some of this stuff live from when he first started, which is something that caught my attention. And I was like, wow, this is cool, because it's one thing is preaching all these things on stage. I really enjoy when I see people that are practicing what they're preaching. And if you look at some of his older feeds, you'll see, I think it's a Facebook or Instagram, Jeff.
Yeah, on Facebook, you know, I have a lot of that stuff posted, and it's funny now. He's the one that reminds me of things, right? Like I forgot to, you know, to pray before I eat. Like, Dad, let's pray. Or I forgot to say thank you and please. Like, hey, Dad, please, thank you. And then I'm so impressed now because he's like helping me, and we keep holding each other accountable. It's another thing, you know, it's these little small goals. So it's more about like shaping, like certain manners and characteristics. And that for me is more important. But we also have like different milestones. Okay, you know, reading and you know, knowing his numbers, and like we make it really fun. And then he starts to learn that, and he accomplishes these things. He gets rewarded. He realizes, wow, you know, this is. And then not only it's not just the reward that he gets, but also knowing that he did it and giving him ownership that you did this. How do you feel about doing this? And he's like, man, I feel great, and it looked great. Don't you want more of that? So just like making him, kind of shaping him to be driven by goals and to have purpose and to, you know, we always, you know, doing to others, you know, the way that you want to be done. And it's great. Like that's the most satisfying thing. Like I've done workshops and seminars, but to see your own son, like learning these things and seeing how it impacts all aspects of his life, it's just really so fulfilling.
Yeah, that was awesome. Awesome answer.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Anthony. One person here asked me, do you use the premium LinkedIn or just the you know, how the basic or premium?
Yeah, so I only recommend the premium if you fall into like one of the 3 categories. So if you're like a recruiter, you know, you would need access to LinkedIn Premium. If you're in sales or business development, I would definitely recommend paying that you know, LinkedIn Premium fee. And if you're like an entrepreneur, you know, and you need to develop a lot of relationships. Aside from that, you could probably get away with just using the basic version of LinkedIn. You know, I pay LinkedIn. LinkedIn has given me a massive ROI. Like I could point to the deals that I've closed because we've met on LinkedIn, or because it's been nurtured through LinkedIn, or I discovered certain nuggets that I was able to use in my sales conversation that helped close the deal. So for me, it's like, it's nothing. Like I would pay gladly knowing what it's doing for my business. So just tracking, making sure that you're tracking to see how it's generating revenue for you is something that it's important. But if you're in business development, sales, you're a recruiter, you're an entrepreneur, definitely I would say it's a good investment.
I have another one that came in. This is anonymous. It says, what are your family goals?
So family goals, like we're doing traveling. Like that's something that we want to be able to visit a different country every summer and like spend time, not just like doing the tourist stuff, but actually spend time learning about the community, about its people. So that's something that we've set up. We've already have like a list of all the countries that we're going to visit, you know, as a family. So that's something else. Another one that I'm reminded, I put all these down and I track them. doing a family act of service. So together, once a month, our family gets together. We do with the church, or on our own. We do something that for our community. So like last month, it was getting together to. We had this in Ellicott City. It was like the flooding. People were displaced. They needed supplies. So like just getting together as a family. Okay, let's go shopping and let's go get these things for these people. And then like getting my son involved. Like, hey, what do you want to get for them? Or do you have any toys that you're not using anymore that we could donate to some of these kids that need them? And like, oh yeah, Dad, I got this and this. And like just doing that at least once a month. So that's one of our goals as a family. Praying, spending time in prayer at least once a week, eating our family dinners, having family game time. So these are goals that we set. They're not monstrous goals, but there's things that are going to help us build upon. So those are what we have right now, what we're focused on. And then as more my wife and I, right, we have like income financial goals that we want to establish. So we have that type of goals, but I don't really involve my son in that because I think he just isn't, he's not there yet. But at one point, it'll be a family affair.
Where is it that you're going to Europe? Because I love Europe. I had a great time. I took my whole family there actually.
Yeah,
a few years back.
So we want to do France, Italy, and Spain. So we want to do those 3 countries on our first time. Maybe we'll just narrow it down to one and like do it more in depth. So
yeah, each one of them is a different experience.
Yeah. So we might, and then right now we're we're in the middle of planning that, but France is definitely like the one that we're probably going to do for sure.
All right. Well, Jeff, thank you so much. We have, for those of you that are still online, we have a conversation group on Facebook group. And in fact, let me go ahead and bring up this slide. If you want to contact Jeff direct, this is his contact information. So if you can take a screenshot of that, contact him, let him know that you saw him in the interview, the Mastermind Circle, and ask him questions. He will get back to you. That's one of the things I like about Jeff. I want to thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. I am really proud of you and your successes. I'm one of your fans now. I'm going to keep looking at your Instagram, man. I love it. I love it because it's sincere, it's real. And I root for you every time you're doing your 10K. You're like I'm doing another 10K. Oh no, I made 5 miles. Oh, I'm doing 10. I love it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I loved it the other day that you weren't really wanting to work out.
Yeah.
And you put it out there, and next thing you know, you're running. I love that, man.
Yeah, but it's real, man. It's real, and I appreciate what you've done in my life. Thank you for all that you've done, Bert. I mean, you really have.
Thank you.
Been a great mentor, and again, I wouldn't be who I am today without your influence. So I appreciate everything that you've taught me, and for the person that you are and your family too, man. You live this, man. You don't just teach this and do workshops and train people. You actually, I've seen you live this, man. You've got your inspiration. A lot of the way your family is, it's an inspiration to me, and the reason that I do what I do. So thanks for that.
You let me know when you're back in town so I can invite your wife and your family to dinner at my house. So
awesome, dude. I would love it.
I want to stick. People come into my life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And I want you to stay part of our family for a lifetime, man. I really like you since the day I met you. And eventually, I know you're going to hit the stage. Once you make your $1 million doing your career, then you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll talk about it on stage again. I'm excited, Absolutely. Man. I wish you great success, and thank you so much. Everyone, thank you so much for being here at the Mastermind Circle. Looking forward to seeing you next week. And remember, my name is Bert Oliva. Remember to live life and don't let life live you. I'll see you next week.
Register online and join us today for all new live interviews and weekly topics only at themastermindcircle.com.